is a bright but cold, sunshiny day here at Soldier Field. That probably won't make much difference to Lane Tech and Prosser as they meet to decide the championship in the Chicago Public League. It is a beautiful day here at Soldier Field with the sun shining brightly. That is, as long as you don't take the temperature into consideration. Here on the lakefront, it is 19 degrees with a south wind of about 10 miles an hour. Down on the field, they probably won't feel it as much as we do up here in the booth. Good afternoon. I'm Greg Gumbel, along with Ed Brennan and head coach of Brother Rice High School, Tom Mitchell, for this Chicago Public League Championship game between Lane Tech and Prosser High School. In Lane Tech and Prosser, we have a couple of teams, one expected to be here, the other kind of a surprise. The one expected to be here, of course, Tommy, is Lane Tech.
Lane Tech is an excellent football team, Greg. They're 10-0 at this point. They have an excellent defense, which is led by Dave Loritzen, number 52, who is the linebacker and leading tackler on their defense. They also have another outstanding performer back there, Dave Peterson, a defensive back who's intercepted 10 passes to date. Offensively, they have averaged 44 points a ball game, and they are led by running back Bob Feldy and quarterback Mark Whittinghill.
They've got a lot in store for us, and Prosser also has quite a bit in store for us, Eddie.
Yeah, they have two all-staters. They're in Jerry Halley, who has 46 receptions, and their quarterback, Dan Weber, who's 6 feet tall, 170 pounds, and Halley is 5'10", 165. Both of these boys have to be watched. That's their whole attack for the most part, as far as Prosser is concerned. And one other factor, Prosser has been beaten earlier this year by Lane, 42-14. So that's going to be a factor in the game today.
Both coaches, incidentally, the only ones that don't consider that a factor. We will be back with the start of this game, Lane Tech and Prosser High School, in just one moment.
Hi, I'm in a 24-hour Golden Bear family restaurant to talk to a typical family. Let's see what these folks are having. Here, a giant Papa Golden Bear burger and fries. Are they good? Oh, good. And a big juicy steak. It's juicy. And a crisp salad for the lady. And a nice sundae. You folks seem to like it here at Golden Bear. But they feel right at home here.
Golden Bear, Golden Bear. It's a honey of a place where food is fun. Golden Bear.
You know, Ford Thunderbird has always been one of the most luxurious cars you could buy. And this year, when some car makers are cutting down on size and making standard features optional, it's nice to know that Thunderbird is keeping its size and standard equipment. Look at that styling. And inside, there's room enough to fit 5 people with comfort. But what's really going to sell you on it is the ride. So test drive a 78 T-Bird today at one of the 93 Ford dealers in this area. Tell them old 51 sent you.
We're here for the national anthem, the Lane Tech Band. About ready to come onto the field. We will have the toss of the coin. Meanwhile, the officials. Number 1, the referee, will be Bud Kelly. The umpire, Ed Hassel. The field judge will be Harold Mitcher. Head linesman, Ray Doran. And the back judge is Rich Reels. Co-captains meeting In the dark jerseys for Prosser High School, co-captain number 15, Dan Weber, and number 20, Paul Majori. For Lane Tech, number 17, Mark Whittinghill, number 60, Luis Munoz, number 83, Chuck Richards, and number 33, Art Fumetto. Tom Mitchell, with the weather cold like this, just how much will it affect the play on the field?
I don't feel it's going to affect Lane Tech that much, Greg. However, it could be a factor against Prosser because they're going to want to throw the ball a little more, and boy, that's going to sting the hands when that ball hits.
Well, Lane Tech has won the toss, and they will receive.
The ball feels like it's about 25 or 30 pounds when it comes into your hand at this kind of weather, though, Greg. And that's seemingly one of the big things for Prosser is going to be their aerial attack. They've got to make that work to go against Lane. Lane is a big, strong team. Their offensive line average is 223. That's a lot for a high school bunch of kids. 223 pounds average. Their smallest kid is 205.
I think any team that has played against the Lane Tech Indians this year will agree that they are a big team. There are only 25 rostered players on the Prosser vocational roster, and that is a small group.
And I'm given to understand of those 25, 4 are freshmen. They have no Frosh soft football program at Prosser. And in fact, one of the emotional factors today is that Mel Lloyd, the coach of Prosser, declares that this, if they lose today, will be his final game. If they go into the Prep Bowl, that will be his final game. Either way, at the end of this season, Mel Lloyd is quitting as coach of Prosser.
I think the bottom line is that no matter what happens in this game, Mel Lloyd has done a fantastic job.
Marvelous job.
Done an excellent job. Has to have a number of votes for Coach of the Year, Greg.
As has Ron Rio, of course, and we are ready for the kickoff. Number 10 for Prosser is Tony Padilla. He will kick off and back to receive for Lane Tech. Number 28, John Sanabria. Number 44, Bob Feldy. The referee says we're ready to go, and I guess we are. Short kick will come to Sanabria at about his own 19 and follows the wedge right up the middle and breaks into the open.
One man!
Tony Padilla, the kicker, made the tackle at the Prosser 39-yard line, and that's where the ball will be put in play, 1st and 10.
I'm sure this is one thing that Coach Lloyd wanted to avoid right here, Greg. He's given them excellent field position, and a club that's as big and as strong as Lane Tech is, that's going to create some problems.
Huge hole in the middle of that field as he went down, and finally the kicker brought him down. Greg?
Mark Whittinghill back to throw. Whittinghill throws to the side, complete to number 33, or 83, that is split end Chuck Richards, and he is brought down by Ed Sippian, number 80. We'll set the starting lineups for you. The Lane Tech offense is Brian Johnson, 85, and Chuck Richards, 83 at the end. John Miklaszewski, 71, and Marshall Cheatham, 72 at the tackles. Luis Munoz, 60, Rich Wiederer, 63 at the guards, and Luigi Belmonte at center. Over the center right now is number 17, Mark Whittinghill. He has 44, Feldy, and 32, Para behind him. And the give is to Feldy. Feldy down to the 35, and he is brought down by number 80, Ed Sippian again, to the 25-yard line. I beg your pardon. Sippian with his second tackle of the day already.
You know, we almost saw, Greg, what we saw last year. The opening play last year, CVS against Lane. CVS took the kickoff and ran it back for a touchdown. We almost saw that same thing today, with Lane doing it.
Whittinghill, 14 touchdown passes. He completes 60% of the balls that he throws. Here is the give to 32, Terry Para, and Terry Para cracks down close to the 15-yard line. He is brought down by number 52, Jim Detmer, and that is a 1st down.
All right, here he comes off the side, gets across the 20, and then meets 2 men and gets down to about the 16.
1st and 10 for Lane.
I don't think it's much of a secret that if Prosser is to win this game today, they're going to have to do it with quickness, because when it comes to brute strength, Lane Tech is mighty big.
And that's where it's showing right now. They're blowing him out.
Whittinghill, the keeper, right up the middle. It's a touchdown.
Center of that line just opened up. They drove a wedge in it.
What you had on that last play was an audible by Willie Whittinghill. They were going to fire the linebacker, and Mark audible to a sneak, and he found the seam up in the middle.
And there he goes. Avoids one man, and he's got 5 yards to run. It's a little scamper.
Excellent call by the Lane Tech quarterback. 16-yard touchdown right up the middle, and the Indians have taken a 6-0 lead.
With 10:21 left to play in the first quarter.
And they'll go for the 2-point conversion. Whitting Hill rolls around, goes into the end zone, and that's 2.
2-point conversion.
Well, as I say, Greg, we almost saw what CVS pulled on Lane Tech last year. It was the kickoff, and then student body left, and they went down and scored. And the coach of CVS, John Pataki, told us last year that they were going to do that and then try and hang on, which they succeeded in doing the whole blooming game, with the exception of the last minute or so, where Lane got another, or rather CVS got another touchdown with about a minute or so to go and made it 12-0. But that was our ball game, the opening play last year, and practically the opening play this year, where we got to such beautiful field position.
The Falcons will have to see what they can do now. They will come back with the all-state combination that you mentioned at the top, Ed, of Dan Weber throwing to Jerry Halley, number 82.
Incidentally, one thing to consider here, too, as Lane kicks off, they are kicking off with the sun at their back, and we've been watching people out on the field practicing, holding their hands up to their eyes, trying to shade them. That is a factor here as he kicks off.
It took Lane Tech 4 plays to go 39 yards, and the reception is taken up near the 35, and he is buried at about the 38-yard line. Ball was taken by... Oh, we don't know who that is. Looks like number 60, Ivan Marino. The Prosser offense looks like this. The tight end, number 80, Ed Scypian. Tackles, 52, Jim Detmer, and 71, Tony Jackson. The guards, Pete Lopez, 74, and Ivan Marino, 60. In the center is Bill Stuckling. Quarterback number 15, Dan Weber. He has Rich Minsinski and Paul Maggiore behind him. And off the left side, about the 42-yard line, goes 15, Dan Weber. Weber brought down by number 55, Ted Tim. Ted Tim is the weak side linebacker, what Coach Ron Rio refers to as the Willie linebacker. Number 52, Dave Loritzen. They make the majority of the tackles for that Lane Tech defense. The flanker is number 41, Armando Gonzalez. Split end is 82, Jerry Halley. They are both wide right. And Danny Weber is going to throw, and over the middle, and it's picked off. That is Art Fiumetto.
In between him, he's got it.
Art Fiumetto is knocked out of bounds by Dan Weber at the 8-yard line, and that's where the Indians will put it in play. 1st and goal to go.
The passer saved the touchdown. Dan Weber came on over. Now watch the interception there. He steps in front of him.
It's great timing by the defensive back here, Greg.
He played that ball beautifully.
Very well.
Way up in the air, took it away from Halley, the intended receiver, and then just scooted on down. And it was Dan Weber coming over from the court, missing that tackle, but knocking him out of bounds.
That is 6 interceptions this year for safety man Art Fiumetto, co-captain. 1st and goal from the 8. The give to Bob Feldy right up the middle, and he reaches the 5 and no more.
On that particular play there, they went with an unbalanced line with a power eye, and that's going to create some problems defensively for Prosser.
Paul Maggiore and Jim Detmer made the tackle down there. It is 2nd and goal from the 5 now.
And the score is already 8-0 in favor of Lane in this first quarter with 8:57 left to play in the first quarter. Lane converting on a 2-pointer.
Whitting Hill with the signals up the middle and a flag. Big Jim Detmer, Prosser's only real big man on that defensive line. No, Greg Crane, also fairly good size.
Illegal motion, Greg, against Lane. 5-yard penalty. Move it back to about the 11. Now make it the 10.
It will be 2nd and goal from the 10. Whitting Hill steps up, splitting wide to the left is 85, Brian Johnson. Long count.
Yeah.
The give is 28, Sanabria. Sanabria
He's in.
just short of the goal line. Just short of the goal line.
Short of the goal. Brought down by Jerry Halley.
Prosser held a team meeting on Sanabria and couldn't bring him down. Right at the goal line, just an inch. How close can you get?
39, Bob Flamini into the lineup for Lane Tech at the fullback position. He will line up in the backfield with 44, Bob Feldy.
We're going to see a quarterback sneak. Yep. And a flag.
Flag and a play.
Whitting Hill made it into the end zone. There is a flag on the play, and we'll have to wait and see if it's going to count.
I think it's going to be a procedure call against Lane Tech here. I don't believe his offensive line was set.
Illegal
It is.
procedure on Lane.
He wipes out the touchdown. That'll move it back to almost the 10, or to the, almost the 5. They are right at the goal line.
Ron Rio shuffling players in and out. Terry Parra, number 32, back into the offensive lineup for Lane Tech High School. They have a 3rd and 5 from the 5. This time Feldy split far to the right side. And Whitting Hill will throw it.
Whitting Hill back to
For the
pass.
corner. Feldy.
Touchdown.
That's complete.
Mark Whitting Hill to Bob Feldy in the right corner of the end zone, and Lane Tech is on the scoreboard again. It is now 14-0.
Beautiful, soft little pass. Just tucked it in. Nothing hard, nothing burning at him. Just lobbed it over the heads of the defenders, and he gathered in his midsection and went down with it. It's 14-0 with 7:46 to go in the first quarter of this Public League Championship in Soldier Field. Lane against Prosser. They're going to go for 2 again, I guess, Greg.
Lane will drive for 2
Again, receiver split to the right side, and Whitting Hill with the handoff, and that looks like Sanabria in for the 2-point conversion. John Sanabria, 5'8", 145 pounds, and with 7:46 to play in the first quarter, it is Lane Tech 16 and Prosser nothing. Tommy, unexpected?
Yes, I'm sure this is the one thing Coach Lloyd was afraid might happen, all right? Because now he's put in the position he's got to play catch-up, and with his lack of size, that means he's got to start going up top with the ball, and you've already seen what can happen when the ball is up in the air.
Here's another look at the 2-point conversion. Whitting Hill with the give. No, this is the touchdown. And Bob Feldy, the leading scorer in the red-white division this year, his 15th touchdown of the year.
Lovely soft pass, just looped it into him.
Kicking off for Lane Tech, number 50, Luigi Belmonte.
Well,
Back to receive for Prosser, number 20, Paul Maggiore, number 82, Jerry Halley. And Halley has returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns this year.
Lane can kind of lay back its ears and keep coming because they know that they're going to have to throw to catch up here. Running against this team is going to be murder.
Squibs it along the ground, taken to the 25-yard line by Don Moss, and Moss fights his way to the 30, 35, and pulled down at about the 35-yard line by 2 or 3 Lane Tech Indians, and that's where the Prosser Falcons will put it in play. 1st and 10 at their own 35.
The score now 16-0. Lane Tech over Prosser. 7:36 to go in the first quarter of play. And now Prosser has got to do something. They've got to get some first downs and they've got to get some yardage. They've got to get some confidence build up.
Halley split far right. And Weber hands off up the middle. Paul Maggiore doesn't get much. 2 yards at the most.
I think it's important for Prosser not to get too panicky this early in the ball game. They've got to sort of feel Lane Tech out a little bit and realize that we're only in the first period.
They really haven't had the ball that often to do any feeling out.
No,
that's all been Lane Tech on offense.
Exactly.
All right, Dan Weber brings his team to the line again, and the pitch. Drop, backfield, scramble for the ball, Maggiore falls on it. Defensive tackle John Larson, number 70, and Dave Loritzen right on top of him. It is a loss of 4. It is now 3rd and 17 from the Prosser 28. Set the Lane Tech defense for you. Defensive ends, 89 Rudy Mayfield, 76 Fred Reed, 72 and 70 John Larson and Marshall Cheatham. At the tackles, the nose guard is Jose Vivar, number 62. Linebackers, 52 Dave Loritzen, 55 Ted Tim. The roverback is Steve Wydig, 42. Cornerbacks Dave Peterson and Bill Moylan, with Art Fumetto at safety. 3rd and long for Prosser, and Dan Weber is going to look and gets rid of it and overthrows his man, who was well covered at the 40-yard line. Intended receiver number 80, Ed Sipien, the tight end. Sipien And he was covered by Ted Tim and Bill Moylan on the play. It will be 4th down, and Prosser will do the kicking.
And the defense was coming to such an extent that Weber almost had to throw that sidearm to get it downfield. They were really beginning to close in on him. He had some time, but couldn't find a receiver open.
Danny Weber will do the kicking, and John Sanabria goes back into single safety for Lane Tech. Weber gets it away. It will bounce. It hits. And out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. That is cornerback Bill Moylan. And he was brought down by number 80, Ed Sippian for Prosser. Lane Tech's ball, 1st and 10, their own 47-yard line.
And again, excellent field position for this big, powerful team from Lane.
Very good field position. Again, that's I keep reiterating that. This is the one thing I'm sure Coach Lloyd just didn't want to happen. He just didn't want Lane Tech to have field position.
What's your feeling of power and size against quickness on a day like this?
Well, you got to go with the power and the strength, obviously.
Whittinghill calls signals. The pitch.
Good defense.
Big Jim Detmer, number 52, with the stop behind the line. It will be 2nd and 13 from the 45.
Detmer came blowing in from left tackle position and really put the stopper on that one.
Detmer's got excellent quickness for a big man. He's 6'5" and 230.
And he's only a junior, too.
Correct.
Prosser defense, 83 and 80. Bill King and Ed Sippian at the ends. Tony Jackson, Jim Detmer at the tackles, and Greg Crane and Bill Stucklick at the guards. The give, right up the middle. Fumble, picked off by Prosser.
It's a foot race.
That is Armando Gonzalez. That is Armando Gonzalez, and it's a Prosser touchdown.
He kept his balance. That was going to be the deciding factor. Could that one man knock him down? He kept his balance.
Things have been going very poorly for Prosser early in the ball game. Here's a break that's going to swing some momentum back their way.
And that is a big play, and the Prosser fans on the sidelines are enjoying it. 41, Armando Gonzalez. 5'9", 140-pound junior.
I thought sure that Mark Whittinghill had a shot at him that was good enough to bring him down. He hit him low, but Gonzalez kept his balance very well.
An excellent job of running by the young man, Ed.
And with 4:54 to play in the first quarter, the Prosser Falcons back in this ball game, and they will go for the 2-point conversion. Gonzalez split left. Jerry Halley now also moving to the left side, number 82.
If they make it, it'll be 16-8.
Weber fakes inside, throws outside, and overthrows everyone.
All the receivers were turned the wrong way.
Well, he got real good pressure on that particular play, Ed.
It was kind of let it go and hope that there's somebody over there, but both receivers were turned away from the ball.
The clock is stopped with 4:54 to play in the first quarter. Lane Tech 16 and Prosser 6. And here's a look at the touchdown again. You see Mark Whittinghill calling signals. The give.
The fumble.
Terry Pera drops it off, and there to pick it up was Armando Gonzalez.
Now watch Whittinghill throw the shot at him. Does not take him down.
Armando Gonzalez, 52 yards. Tony Padilla ready to kick off now for the Prosser Falcons. John Sanabria, 28. And Bob Feldy, 44, deep for Lane Tech.
Prosser's going to need a couple of those breaks, such as those recovered fumbles and that run with it, to stay with this powerful team of Lane. The score 16-6 with 4:54 to go in the first quarter of play. The Public League Championship from Soldier Field on a very cold day.
34, Richard Strapp is also deep. This one's taken by Sanabria. Sanabria, 35, 40, knocked at the 40 and falls forward to the 41-yard line. I'd like to mention right now that tomorrow, November 27th, we'll be right back here at Soldier Field at 3 o'clock for the Chicago Catholic League Football Championship between Loyola Academy and the Mustangs of St. Rita High School. Tomorrow at 3, right here on Channel 5. And that, too, should be a fine game.
And if it gets any colder, we may not leave here. We may not be able to.
We may be frozen to these seats.
Mark Whittinghill, 1st and 10, his own 41-yard line. The give, Terry Pera to the 45, brought down by Tony Jackson, defensive tackle for Prosser, number 71.
Following the block of number 63, Rich Webener.
Number 30 into the lineup for Lane Tech is Tony Giacomino. Clock continues to run. We are in the first quarter. Lane Tech leading by a score of 16-6. They have the ball, 2nd and 6. Whitting Hill to Tony Giacomino. Giacomino across midfield to the 49-yard line, where he was brought down by number 32, Don Moss. Something about these Prosser ball players, almost all of them go both ways. I think all except Danny Weber, the quarterback.
That could be a factor as the game wears on.
That, too, is part of the surprise of having Prosser here. They don't have a big squad to work with.
Bob Feldy, big hole on the left side, off the ball over. Prosser with the recovery at the 42-yard line.
This may be that break we were just mentioning. It obviously it's a break, but if they can capitalize on this, now Prosser can get back into this ball game.
Greg Crane and Don Moss fell on that ball at the same time.
Very, very important now for Prosser to capitalize on this break.
Here's the fumble, and there's Greg Crane, number 65, 5'11", 240-pound sophomore, gentlemen.
Now the pros right about now would throw a pass just because the other team was off balance a little, but they don't.
Weber, quarterback sneak to about the 47-yard line. Brought down in a heap, numbers 52, Dave Luritzen gets off the pile, as does number 70, Johnny Larson.
5-yard pickup.
It is 2nd and 5. Prosser working from their own 47 now. The clock winding down to about 2:55 to play here in the first quarter. Prosser down by 10 and trying to get on the board again. Weber, the handoff. Good for 2 yards, no more. Paul Maggiore brought down by the center of that line. And nose guard Jose Vivar and linebacker Ted Tim.
He's got 3 yards to go. 3rd and 3. They've got to make this one.
Coming to the near side, 82, Jerry Halley, 41, Armando Gonzalez in the slot. As Danny Weber calls signal. Runs the option, and he is nailed.
He's buried. Hello there.
Linebacker Dave Luritzen made the stop.
He just came breaking through and then cut to his left and smashed into him. Just smothered him.
And Weber will do the punting from about his own 35-yard line. 4th and 5 with the clock now under 2 minutes to play in the first quarter.
If Sanabria can run this back, again, they will have fairly decent field position. Not a terribly good snapback. It's a high one. Good kick.
And he will take it. He will let it bounce. And it hits a Lane Tech. It looked like it hit a Lane Tech man, and there are flags thrown.
All considered, that's a good kick on Prosser's part.
And the Falcons look like they will put it in play about their 23, or Lane Tech will put it in play about their 23, 24-yard line. And a little bit of discussion and some interference call against Prosser High School.
The receiver's allowed to handle the ball cleanly, Greg. On that particular play, the Prosser man was just too close and interfered with his right to receive the ball.
And they'll kick it again.
With step off the yardage from the original line of scrimmage, and Dan Weber will have to kick it again.
And again, this has got to be considered a definite break for Lane Tech. Not only with the penalty, but with the fact now that they've got another opportunity to do a run back. They didn't have a run back on the previous kick.
Once again, single safety for Lane Tech will be 28, John Sanabria, and Dan Weber will kick it away for Prosser.
Better
snap this time. And a kick that will bounce right around midfield and rolls back across the midfield stripe, where it's finally downed at the Prosser 49-yard line by Ed Sippian.
Lane bounce.
Again, Lane comes up with good field position. Now the question is, can they hang on to the football?
Yes, 2 fumbles. One cost them a touchdown, and the other one cost them a lot of yardage.
Just a note, tomorrow afternoon at 12 noon here on Channel 5, you will see AFC football action. The New York Jets home to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers and the Jets tomorrow at noon here on Channel 5. Mark Whittinghill fakes to Feldy, wants to throw, has it outside, knocked away, incomplete. It is ruled, intended for number 83, Chuck Richard, the split end. Strong safety, Paul Maggiore was there to knock it away. Whitting Hill, 14 touchdown passes, 15 including the one earlier in this game, and a 60% completion.
He almost trapped he did trap the ball.
I believe what happened is you had two receivers on the same team touch the ball. It's deflected off one receiver to the other receiver. No, it dropped. It dropped.
He almost trapped the ball.
2nd and 10 from the 49 in the pitch. Sanabria breaks over the line of scrimmage for about 2 yards down to the 46, 47-yard line, where he's brought down by Greg Crane.
You had excellent defensive flow to the ball on that particular play by Prosser.
At least these Prosser kids keep warm playing both ways.
That's one of the advantages of playing both ways, whereas if you're two platooning, you got to go out of the ball game, you get cold there on the sideline, and then you have to come back in and get warmed up again.
The clock is running. We have 30 seconds remaining to be played. This, in all likelihood, is the final play of this first quarter. Whitting Hill calling signals. And the give is to Bob Feldy. Feldy with an opening.
Another lovely cut. Two beautiful cuts, left and then right.
I think Feldy just showed you why he led that north section in scoring last year.
He took that defensive man right out of his socks.
Bob Feldy has just gone 47 yards for a touchdown, and Lane Tech has now boosted their lead to 22-6.
Two beautiful cuts. Went right, then went left. And just left the defensive man standing there looking.
2-point conversion coming up with 9 seconds to play here in the opening period. Whitting Hill with the give. Sanabria following, blocking,
Did not make it out.
he did not. He was stopped short of the goal by number 82, safety Jerry Halley. And the score will stay 22-6 in favor of Lane with 9 seconds to play.
Incidentally, in case somebody's wondering, are Lane Tech trying to rub it in by taking 2 points rather than 1? I think it's primarily due to the fact that Lane doesn't have a good PAT man, and they have to run for it. Here's the touchdown now.
And
Watch the two cuts by 44.
Bob Feldy does a fine job of using his blocking. Coach Ron Reel told me earlier in the week that he's not a flashy back, and he probably would not fit into some large school's program.
Right.
Used his blockers very well.
Bob Feldy, that is touchdown number 16 of the year. For Bob Feldy, and Lane Tech will kick it away again. And it took Lane 3 plays and 1 minute and 11 seconds to go those 49 yards after the punt.
9 seconds left in the first quarter, 22-6.
Luigi Belmonte with the kickoff, and a big bounce over everybody's head and down into the end zone and back out again.
Just in the end zone. The length of the football in the end zone. And then bounced out, but it did touch down there.
The clock did not start, and we still have 9 seconds to play. Here in the opening period, Lane Tech 22, Prosser 6. And we haven't had anything unexpected happen. I think that Lane Tech came into this game the heavy favorite.
Right. I would expect to see Prosser come to the outside now a little more with their option rather than running just a veer-off tackle.
Also, you got to remember again, because I think it's a factor in the game, the first time these two teams met, Lane won 42-14. They're ahead 22-6. Is this a repetition? I don't know. We'll see.
Dan Weber
Up the center.
right up the middle for a couple of yards.
That's going to use up the first quarter, I think.
And that is the end of the first quarter. 1 quarter of play down. The score, Lane Tech 22 and Prosser 6. We'll be back to Soldier Field right after this message.
Z-Bart introduces the new-looking 1963 Dodge Dart. We rust-proofed it way back then. The original owner didn't buy what the car dealer called rust-proofing. He came straight to Z-Bart for the original patented rust-proofing process. You get this kind of rust protection only at Z-Bart. So skip your car dealer's offer and come to Z-Bart for real rust-proofing. It's us, or rust.
Z-Bart is in the yellow pages under automobile undercoating and rust-proofing.
The Affordable Art Sale lets you choose from thousands of paintings at a price you can afford. Original oil paintings in every color, shape, and size, only $9 to $35. Frames as well. I'm a buyer for the Affordable Art Sale, and I know art. I've traveled the world to bring you the finest paintings you can find for $9 to $35.
This Sunday only at Hillside Holiday Inn, Affordable Art Sale Skokie, and Alsip Holiday Inn.
Bye.
Prosser High School has run one play, and you will see it right here. Danny Weber with the fake into the line, and then the pitch outside to Rich Minsinski, and Minsinski run out of bounds at about the 26, 27-yard line. It is the 25-yard line. It's 3rd and 5 now for the Falcons.
And they're doing what Tom said they might have to do, is to sweep the ends.
I just don't feel there's any way they're going to run up inside against Lane.
Just as soon as we start, that Weber comes from the center.
Well, let me qualify that with one thing, with the exception of that quarterback sneak, all right? I think a few times what you've had there is Dan Weber audibling into the sneak.
Dan Weber brought down by Jose Vivar, the middle guard, and in that first quarter you can see that Lane piled up 99 yards rushing, another 16 passing for 115 yards, and Prosser 8 yards rushing, 0 passing for a total of 8 yards, and that is no offense.
We've got 4th and short coming up, and it appears that Prosser may go for it here.
Well, the score is 22-6. It's a little early in the game for this kind of technique, but they're going to do it.
4th and 1, and Danny Weber on the keeper, and looks like he has enough for the first down across the 30 to the 31-yard line.
On the 31-yard line.
And that is the first down. Dan Weber, as I said, came in. That tackle made by Jose Vivar, the middle guard. Dan Weber came in with impressive throwing statistics, 72 completions and 117 attempts for 932 yards and 7 touchdowns. 1st and 10, Prosser, 31-yard line. 22-6, they trail Lane Tech. Weber, fake into the middle, outside, and he is swallowed up by linebacker Dave Loritzen, number 52, and looked like one of the linemen got over there to help him out. That will make it a gain of 4, 2nd and 6 from the 35.
And you know, gentlemen, we haven't seen the pass from Weber to Halley yet. No, that was to be the big thing.
Well, I think that interception may have affected Dan Weber's confidence a little bit. All right, that pass was intended for Haley at that time. It was intercepted and almost returned for a touchdown.
85, Brian Johnson is in at a tight end position for Lane Tech as Prosser works 2nd and 6. And the give is to Majori. Majori across the 35, and he is pulled down by number 26, Bill Moylan, the cornerback on that side. A gain of 2, it will be 3rd and 4.
Majori didn't pick up much on that particular play, Greg, but he certainly worked awful hard. He broke 2 tackles as it was.
Majori is Prosser's leading rusher with 89 carries, 675 yards. That's about 7.5 yards per carry average.
But he's running against a terribly big line today.
3rd and 4, another big play for Prosser, and Weber fakes into the line. He wants to throw it. Intended for Halley, knocked down by 55, Ted Tim.
Like there were 2 defensive players between Halley and that ball, both of whom had a shot at it.
Number 55, Ted Tim, 5'10", 185-pound senior, and Dan Weber will do the punting.
Weber had enough time on that pass. He was looking for Halley all the way, but there were 2 defensive players between Halley and the ball.
Weber gets a fine punt away. It's going to bounce at the 33 and bounce out of bounds at about the 33-yard line, and that's where Lane Tech will put it in play with 9:22 remaining here in the first half, and the score, Lane Tech 22 and Prosser 6.
Well, it's been in essence the ball game that happened earlier this year with Lane Tech winning at 42-14 on the Power. The Power is showing today with that huge offensive line of Lane, averaging 223 pounds. The smallest lad on that squad is on the line is 205.
Big, strong team. Lane Tech, 1st and 10 from their own 33. Whittinghill with the call and the give right up the middle. Terry Parra breaks into the opening. Brought down by number 32, Don Moss at the 45-yard line. That is a first down for the Indians.
Excellent quickness on the part of Terry Parra there, Greg. All right, he really exploded up into the hole and made a nice cut to his right and found an opening there.
He was there when the hole opened. He didn't look for it. It was bow. He was there.
46-yard line of scrimmage, 1st and 10, 9 minutes remaining here in the first half. Whitting Hill calling signals. The give to the deep back again, and this time he is stacked up at about the line of scrimmage by cornerback Don Moss, number 32. That was Bob Feldy.
Lovely stopping tackle by Moss on that one. He came up and laid the shoulder pads into him well. We have a score in the fourth quarter. It's Penn State 12, Pitt 7 in the fourth quarter. Penn State 12, Pitt 7 in the fourth.
I think we already have a higher scoring game than that here. Whitting Hill fakes to the back, and he wants to throw it outside. 85 is Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson to the 40 and down to the 38-yard line.
Johnson's a big lad.
Armando Gonzalez brought him down. That is another Lane Tech first down.
You know, we talk an awful lot about Lane Tech's running game, but a couple of times now Whitting Hill has gone up top with the pass, and boy, he's a very good thrower.
He also has the ability from the point of view that they've already established their ground attack, and now they can pick them apart a little bit in the air. Prosser hasn't established that ground attack, and it's hurt their air attack.
That's correct.
Ron Rio believes that football should be fun, not only to watch, but also to play, and that's why he believes in throwing everything into his offense. The give to Sanabria. Sanabria for a couple of tough yards.
You got to put Sanabria down. He isn't going to fall down.
Middle guard Bill Stucklick made the tackle for Prosser High School, and Bob Feldy back into the lineup for Lane Tech, number 44, and he will replace second and 9 from the 37. Whitting Hill to throw. Throwing deep. Sanabria, he's got it.
Two men all over him and another third man near him, and he still leaped up and got it.
Excellent concentration by John Sanabria.
He really was focused on that ball.
Don Moss saved the touchdown. Here's Whitting Hill getting good protection.
Now watch Sanabria's concentration. He's looking, he's up, and he's got it.
Dave Moss there to pull him down at the 5-yard line. Call it a long 4 or a short 5. It is first and goal. And Lane Tech threatening to put more points on the board.
Whitting
right
Hill
up the middle.
Center.
And Whitting Hill stopped at about the 2. The 1-yard line. It will be second and goal from the 1. Linebacker Rich Vincinski made the tackle, number 31. Ron Rio shuffling players in and out.
Tony Giacomo just came out. He was limping a little bit.
And John Sanabria also comes out.
Yes.
The clock is running with 6:25 to play in the first half. Second and goal, and Lane Tech threatening to put more points on the board from the 1.
They're already leading 22-6.
Whitting Hill calls signals. Bob Feldy, touchdown.
28-6 now.
Third touchdown of the game for Bob Feldy. 2 on the ground, 1 coming through the air, and Lane Tech has taken a 22-point lead as we look at it again.
What you have there is an unbalanced line with a power eye, and they're just out-manning Prosser. That's all they're doing right there.
And again, they'll run for the 2 points, lacking a kicker. They are not necessarily trying to rub Prosser's nose down into the ground. It's just they don't have a kicker.
Whitting Hill will roll right and look into the end zone, and it's incomplete. Intended for number 44, Bob Feldy, ran short. 6:06 to play, 28-6, Lane Tech, and we'll take time out for this commercial message.
Long Chevrolet in Elmhurst has put together a selection of new cars and trucks like never before. Long Chevrolet now has a complete inventory of 1978 models with the options you want, cars and trucks. See the difference volume makes at Chicago's volume dealer. Buy a new car from Long Chevrolet, the Chicago dealer that meets the buyer demand for immediate delivery. Get a volume deal from Long Chevrolet, Elmhurst.
See these battery-operated products? They use lots of throwaway batteries, and that gets expensive, even with the long life kind. To save money, I use General Electric rechargeables. When they run down, you just charge them up overnight in the GE Charger. They'll recharge up to 1,000 times and can last for years. Get the complete GE system, batteries, module, and charger. Now with a $2 rebate where battery-operated products are sold.
The Lane Tech kickoff is picked up by Rich Manzinski, and he breaks free right up the middle to about his own 42, 43-yard line, and Prosser will put it in play, 1st and 10 from there, trailing 28-6.
We've got, Prosser has excellent field position now. It's very important that they get some points up on that board before they go in that locker room at halftime right now.
Well, it took 6 plays to go 67 yards in that scoring drive for Lane, and 3 minutes and 16 seconds elapsed on the clock.
1st and 10, the 42-yard line looks like the 41 of the line of scrimmage.
From a confidence factor, Prosser's got to do something.
Weber fakes outside. Jerry Halley, he's got some blocking. He gets through. 45 out of bounds at about the 46-yard line. Looks like a gain of about 5 yards, forced out of bounds by number 33, Art Fiumetto. They have not been able to spring Jerry Halley loose.
No, he circled on back trying to get away from prospective tacklers over there and lost a few yards and then picked it up again. He's very fast. He runs the 40 in about 4.5, so he's got to be a fast man. If they can get it to him and get in one-on-one situation, they got something going.
2nd and 5. Prosser, its own 46-yard line.
First down.
Rich Manzinski all the way to the Lane Tech 45. Art Fiumetto and Ted Tim there for the tackle. And that is the first significant ground gain of the day for Prosser High School.
Aside from Dan Weber's quarterback sneak. No.
First down, Prosser, their own 45, and they are on the move. Weber, the give to Majori. Majori to the 44, maybe the 43-yard line, 1 or 2 yards at the most.
I think you have to give credit to John Larson, the defensive tackle there, who made penetration and
he slowed the whole play down.
Sure he did.
John Larson, 6'1", 225-pound senior, who broke through there and slowed that whole play down. So Prosser's back to 2nd and 9 now.
From the 44, Weber calling signals, and he wants to throw. Slips down and is knocked down by number 76, Big Fred Reed, 6'3", 195. The slippery footing, again, a factor in this case.
It's cold out here, friends, and it really does affect the footing in Soldier Field with this artificial turf. You cannot plant the foot and just cut and run. You got to be very, very certain of what you're doing, or you're liable to go down, as Dan just did there, and then got smothered by Fred Reed, who broke in.
He's got another passing situation at 3rd and 18 from his own 47-yard line, with 4:13 to play in the 2nd quarter. Weber fakes up the middle, gets good block, good protection, and throws it for Halley.
Excellent coverage by the Lane Tech secondary.
Safety man Art Fiumetto and cornerback Bill Moylan, number 26, right on the play as we take a look at it.
There goes Halley down, looking back for the pass. And coming into your picture now is number 33, Art Fiumetto, chasing with him there. And then 26 into the picture, Bill Moylan.
And Danny Weber will punt it away from his own 35-yard line. Kind of a line drive kick. 20. 25, Sanabria to the 30, and out of Donald, knocked down at around the 32, 33-yard line.
And he stepped away from 2 prospective tacklers down there very nicely.
This Sanabria is a nifty little runner.
Shows a lot of determination too, Tim. When you hit him, you got to knock him down.
That's correct.
I'd like to remind you, Saturday, December 3rd, that's a week from today, at 3:30 in the afternoon, we will have the Mayor's Game, the championship between Public League and Catholic League. The winner of this game will play the winner of tomorrow's game between St. Rita and Loyola. The Mayor's Game right here on Channel 5 next Saturday at 3:30. Whittinghill with a quick pass right through Sanabria's hands.
Incidentally speaking of the Mayor's Game, Greg, we are the lucky, quote, stiffs who get a chance to do that game. And I'm using the word stiff advisedly. We're beginning to tighten up a little out here, friends.
It's not going to get any warmer next month, is it?
No, the sun is going down a little bit out here, too. That was a factor a little earlier in the game, the people going from left to right. were running into the sun. As you looked at Lane Tech, now they'd be running into the sun, but it's dipped down now.
2nd and 10, 33-yard line. He holds on to the ball and then lets go. Wanted a jump pass right over the middle for Chuck Richard as he was covered momentarily, and Whitting Hill brought it back down and then let it go.
Chuck Richard's got kind of tangled with the defensive men and couldn't get to the spot they were looking for.
Prosser defense maybe get a little lift here if they can hold him one more time and force Lane to punt. 3rd and 10. The Indians at their own 33-yard line.
And we've got 3:32 to go in the second quarter of play from Soldier Field.
Whitting Hill takes a look around. Sanabria to the far side in motion. And he's going to look for Sanabria. He throws it long. Sanabria on the far side. Can't quite get there.
No chance.
Covered on the play by number 41, Armando Gonzalez, and number 20, Paul Maggiore, there to help. 3 incomplete passes, and Lane Tech will punt.
I would think that that's the limit of Whitting Hill's ability to throw a long ball, because it came up short, and I think he put everything he had into it.
It looked like it, although the ball is a little tougher to throw with your hands so cold, Ed. You know, it's tough to grip
and it
the
hangs
ball.
up
right,
here.
Exactly.
But it did look like that was about the limit that Whitting Hill... Whitting Hill wasn't supposed to be the passer this afternoon. It was supposed to be Weber throwing the passes, and Whitting Hill has been doing a lot of that.
He's thrown some very nice passes. I'm very impressed by the youngster.
Maggiore and Halley ready to receive the punt. And the kick is away, and it will come up short. It's going to bounce at the 42 and takes a Lane Tech bounce. This is going to end up inside the 20, right around the 20-yard line. And it is downed right there by number 34, Richard Strapp. And Prosser, once again, starting in the hole from their own 20-yard line.
And, you know, speaking of Whitting Hill and Dan Weber, Weber is an All-Stater, Halley's an All-Stater. Whitting Hill is not an All-Stater. But Ron Rio, the coach of Lane Tech, said he felt that Whitting Hill was as good as Weber.
I'm very impressed by Whitting Hill. I'll tell you what really impresses me is the leadership the young man gives his club.
I'd like to announce that Olympic skating star Peggy Fleming will be today's special guest on Channel 5's Bubblegum Digest at 5. We won't want to miss any of that. Paul Maggiore breaking into the secondary. Maggiore loses the ball, and it's fallen on at the 40-yard line. And Prosser with a 20-yard gain. Ted Tim made the tackle.
That isn't a set play, is it, fellas, where you fumble and gain enough of 3 yards? No, okay.
Incidentally, I meant that. I like Bubblegum Digest a lot. One of my favorite people, Allison Johnson's a co-host. If she's going to have Peggy Fleming on, I'm going to watch.
I tell you the truth, I kind of like Peggy Fleming. I wouldn't lie to you.
Clock winding down to 2 minutes and 40 seconds to play here in the second quarter. This is a first down for Prosser at 17-yard gain to their own 37-yard line.
And if you just joined us, the score is 28-6 in Lane Tech's favor over Prosser in this Public League Championship game from icy Soldier Field.
Dan Weber calls the signals. Weber fakes into the line, and he's going to throw, and he's got Jerry Halley winding out to the far sideline. The throw for Halley is incomplete. He only had 6 Lane Tech defenders around him.
He did have his hands up there far enough, and it just hit the fingertips. An inch lower, and you might have had a fabulous catch with all those defending men around him. 6 men in his immediate vicinity.
Well, that's quite a compliment to Halley, to be honest with you.
Dave Peterson was the last man to be around him. You see him there, number 41. He is the one who goes up into the air with Halley, and the ball doesn't make connections. Incidentally, for Lane Tech, if you can pick out number 72 on that defensive line, that is Marshall Cheatham. And Marshall only goes 6'2", 260 pounds.
He was born when meat was cheap.
2nd and 10 from the 37, and Weber to the sideline. Halley gets a block, breaks outside, 45, and out of bounds short of midfield at the 48.5-yard line. Dave Lauritzen, number 52, shoved him out.
Showing a lot of lateral movement on that.
All right, watch Halley now.
It's just a little flanker screen.
But he led him nicely so that he was leaning the direction of the play.
Fine block thrown by Tony Jackson, number 71, and Halley makes it work for a first down at his own 48-yard line. And Prosser definitely showing signs of being able to move the ball. 2:09 to play here in the second quarter. 2:09, Lane Tech 28, the Prosser Falcons 6. Prosser with the ball, receiver split to the left. And Weber faking into the line, throws the quick pass in and out of the hands of the tight end number 80, Ed Scipion.
That ball may have been thrown just a little too sharply.
He hit him hard with that thing. He was just going up in the air, and he caught a right smack on the hands, and the hands turn to iron on a day like this. There's nothing supple about them where you can wrap them around a ball.
Cornerback Dave Peterson was there before the play. 2nd and 10. Prosser, 48-yard line. 2:05 to play in the half. It has been a good half for Lane Tech. Jerry Halley and Armando Gonzalez split left. Weber fakes into the line.
Here comes the
Looks to the
defense.
side. And he never got it away. 62 is Jose Vivar, and he was in on the quarterback for the sack.
Lane has the advantage of knowing that Prosser has to go up top now, and now their defensive linemen are just teeing off and putting on a real strong pass rush.
They get together and say, well, I'll meet you at Weber.
We don't have to worry about that run anymore.
Yeah, Prosser definitely has its work cut out for it, even to get any possibility of getting on the scoreboard before the half. 1:29:28 now left on the clock.
And 3rd and long, 19 yards from their own 39. Weber again the screen to Jerry Halley.
Halley's going to throw.
And nobody near it. Nobody near it. Intended for number 80, Ed Scipion, and he was covered. On the play, Art Fumetto and Bill Moylan down there.
That's a very good job by the Lane Tech secondary. You know, you would anticipate them coming up very quickly as soon as the ball came out to Haley, and they did a good job of just staying back and played the play very well.
2 of them back there.
Yes.
Neither one of them were sucked into the play.
Danny Weber will kick it away for Prosser. Incidentally, we don't know these players by heart. We have 2 excellent spotters up here in the booth. Lou Styrer from Prosser High School we will thank repeatedly throughout the afternoon, as we will Frank Messina. Frank unfortunately broke a wrist a while back and is not on the field for Lane Tech. So he's spending his time up here in the booth with us. A good bounce for Weber inside the 25, and it is down at the 22-yard line by Pete Lopez, number 74 for Prosser, and Lane Tech will try to work it from there with 1:06 to play.
We really haven't seen any good run backs of punts today, and it's kind of understandable with the weather being what it is and what have you. Most of the punts have just landed and rolled wherever they were destined to roll.
A good number of them have been very short. And, you know, as a result, the receiver is a little bit hesitant to handle the ball.
One thing I noticed, the kickoffs are short, too.
1st and 10, Lane from its own 22-yard line. Whitting Hill calling the signals. Terry Parra right up the middle. 2 yards, maybe 3. 65, Greg Crane was there to make the tackle. Greg Crane has been in an awful lot of tackles this afternoon.
35 seconds to go till the half.
This Lane Tech offense has put 28 points on the board. They have scored an average of 44.2 points per game, and that's a lot of points.
And they're undefeated coming into this game.
They averaged 373 yards on offense. Whitting Hill to give up the middle again to Terry Parra, and he is out to about the 30-yard line where he was brought down by 71, Tony Jackson. 7 seconds, that will be the last play of the first half as the clock winds down. We have come to the end of the first half of play. Lane Tech 28 and Prosser 6 will be back with some halftime activities right after this message.
Could you get this clean? It's a real challenge with the ketchup and the chocolate syrup and the ground-in dirt and the fact that it's polyester and cotton.
Mickey Thayer is being challenged on Tide's hidden camera.
If you could get this tough load clean, I would give you a year's supply of free detergent.
Fantastic.
Pick a detergent, powder or liquid. Well, you went right for Tide. Why did you go for Tide?
Definitely. What about these others? Not interested.
What about a liquid?
Oh, no.
My last box. Look, I'll give you this one. Give me the Tide. I'll give you this.
I'm sorry, you lost the box.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
No
Mickey.
way.
Mickey, come on.
I'm not nice, not when it comes to the Tide. This works.
Let's wash with Tide.
It's beautiful. I told you I could get it clean with Tide, and I did.
Mickey Thayer knows when you need to count on cleaning, you can put your trust in Tide.
You promised me a year's supply of Tide if I got it clean.
You got a year's
year
supply of Tide.
Oh, great. Thank you.
And we're at halftime in the Public League High School Championship game from Soldier Field in Chicago, with Lane Tech leading 28-6 over Prosser High School. Marching on the field now is the Lane Technical High School Marching Corps, founded in the summer of 1976 by Mr. Carl Lawson, the marching band director. And we're going to watch them perform this afternoon. I don't know how you people feel in watching bands perform, particularly when they start counter-marching, what have you, and forming various designs. Personally, I did a little drill sergeant work when I was in service, and I was pleased as punches if I could get 4 squads of guys to come back without killing each other. These men who do this kind of work, who get these kids trained this way, both in high school and in college, to see them march all over the field, form various diamond shapes and what have you, and still not run into each other, and get off the field without an excess of Band-Aids being used is a minor miracle as far as I'm concerned. Another minor miracle is to play a musical instrument on a day like this, where they tell you in the Midwest to keep your tongue off the pump handle. And when you have to put your lips up against a cold mouthpiece down there, some of these trumpeters do, or whatever it might be, the brass section, that too is a kind of small purgatory. So we're going to watch this Lane Tech band. The young ladies out there performing also. You should know Lane Tech years, so that they now have young ladies in their school, and they are part of the drum majorettes and the pom-pom girls. In fact, they are totally surrounding the band now. Lane Tech High School Band at halftime here at Soldier Field. This year, the Corps has been expanded to include the marching band directed by Mr. Lawson, Mr. Hines, and Mr. Doherty, and led by Drum Major Robert Everson. The majorettes, headed by Captain Anna Jatkowski and Co-Captain Camille Cossins. The pom-pom girls, headed by Captain Staramano and Jeanette Faulkner and Alma Aquino. And the cheerleaders, might as well bring them in, led by Captain Dara Topel. And 2 new additions, the Spirit Boosters, headed by Captain Linda Krumenick, and the ROTC Color Guard, supervised by Sergeant Major Rich. Incidentally, speaking of these kids playing band instruments, I'd like to talk to the parents out there for just a moment. You know, all of you, I'm sure, think from time to time as you watch a football player and he is doing well for his team, that some college is scouting the lad. And there's a good possibility that that's true. And as a parent, you look for the possibility of saving yourself some money. May I tell you that some of these kids out here, just to choose as an example, we'll say playing a tuba, might well find themselves with some kind of a scholarship for them.